Buffalo. They could use a little shot in the arm. Those 4 teams right there, which I think are realistic, are all better destinations short-term and long-term right now than the New York Jets are. And I know we can all throw out Kansas City. I have a tough time believing Kansas City's going to happen. But as I said before, if I'm Kansas City, I would give up a number one, a first-round pick for Devontae Adams. Because guess what? That's going to be, 28, 29 at worst for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the way that football's going this year, it's probably going to be the 32nd pick of the draft. Because we've seen this story many times before. Yeah, one more on the Jets. Here's Quincy Williams on another bad Jets loss.
I'm gonna be honest, man. People get tired of hearing the same every week, bro. So people just gotta start taking accountability from the top to the bottom. That's the main thing, bro. That's all I gotta say for real.
What's the mentality of this team right now?
Like I said, people gotta start taking accountability, bro. People get tired of hearing the same thing every week.
What do you need to work on?
I'm tired of saying the same thing every week.
Here's the thing, and I know what we do. There will be aggregators, there will be people that take that quote and go, oh, Quincy Williams calls out the Jets for not taking accountability. That's fair, right? You listen to that, and he's saying players got to be more accountable from the top to the bottom. We all got to be more accountable. But Stu, there's something that's lost in that. How much is that just player speak? Like, there are times, and you know this, being a fan of the Raiders, where players will get in front of a microphone and they'll say, hey, we need to be more accountable, and it starts at the top and trickles all the way down to the bottom. Now, a player could actually mean that, or a player could just say it because he needs to fill words when he speaks. But in this case, how is the follow-up not, and that already was courtesy of SNY, when you say from the top to the bottom, like, who specifically are you talking about? Like, do you see instances where players or coaches aren't taking accountability and aren't holding themselves accountable? Now, in all likelihood, you're probably not going to get a genuine answer there, but the questions will have to be asked. But I don't know, that seems to me it's more player speak than him actually being annoyed with one or two people in particular.
Yeah, I've heard, like you mentioned, I've heard a lot of that.
Fucking dumb cunt, kept the corner so close. Stay
For this hour of the show, George and I will be right back with you before you know it. This is the Ramsey Show.
Do you ever feel like you're finally making progress towards your goals, only to get quickly destroyed?
In 1.3 miles, turn right on Northwest Garden Valley Boulevard.
App, your single source for content that keeps you motivated. The Ramsey Network app is designed to keep you laser focused on reaching your goals. Loaded with over 7,000 hours of Ramsey shows, this free app is the best place for uninterrupted content and no distractions. Plus, you can search specific questions to get more personalized content in seconds. So, for the days you need some extra motivation, you'll have proven advice at your fingertips. It's time to get serious about your goals and shut out the distractions for good. Simply search Ramsey Network in the App Store or Google Play. If you're listening on a podcast, just click the link in the show notes to download our free Ramsey Network app today.
From the Ramsey Network, it's The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me is George Camel. We're going to be your hosts for this hour. Give us a call. This show is all about your life and your money. And so if you're interested in building wealth, if you're interested in doing more of the work you love or increasing your relationships, this is the show for you. You can call in. The number is 888-825-5225. We'll get you on the line. All right, let's get right into it. The first call comes from Steven. He's in San Jose, California. What's going on, Steven?
How you doing, Jade and George? Thank you for taking my call. I'm a huge fan.
You bet. We're glad you're here. How can we help?
So my question is, I've been married for about 18 years, and we got in your plan back in 2018, and then we got out of debt. Unfortunately, from that time period, we had a separation due to my addiction to alcohol. And everything kind of fell apart. We separated, finances, everything. We remained married because in hopes of, trying to reconcile the marriage.
Yeah.
I got myself clean. I'm over a year clean.
Way to
But in that
go.
meantime, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's been a very hard struggle, but I'm very happy and I'm glad to get myself back just for myself,
Yeah.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
In that time period, I accumulated, some debt, about $50,000 worth of, a car and consumer debt, combined total, and we are still separated financially, and I know it's an
Turn right on Northwest Garden Valley Boulevard.
to get my family back, get my marriage back, get my finances back in order, and we did everything together. And now that it's been separated for the past couple of years, how and even is it possible?
In 1.4 miles,
Yeah.
exit to I-5 North.
And then, I'm getting information and advice from different people, and I know you guys are the professionals, and I trust you guys, and you got us that the first time, so.
Well, I mean, there is part of this. Obviously, you guys separated your finances because of the addiction. And so I'm guessing you both were working with some sort of counselor who was recommending these boundaries, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and so did they kind of give you a point where it's like, okay, once this takes, like, do you have a lever that you pull where it's like, once this takes place, everything goes, and we have that trust that we keep the finances together? Or...
that's the funny thing, because our counselor's advice is, hey, you guys do your thing, and you do your thing separately, and maybe, in the middle, you have to meet down the road. And, I don't feel the same way, and I kind of challenged that the last counseling session, because I feel like, hey, if we're going to be back on board, let's do all this together, and let's get after it, because that's how we did it prior.
What's your wife think?
I understand this is an emotional high. It's a huge thing for my wife. It's a red flag for myself. It's embarrassing, it's shame, guilt, all of that,
What's your wife feel? Is she ready to combine money again?
No, I don't. No, because even, on top of that, with the addiction, I had an injury at work. I'm a driver for, major delivery company, and, my income was reduced because I'm not working and overtime. And so I think she wants to have a set, okay, the year of sobriety, that's great. Let's get, let's just get that in order. And then financially, I think she wants me to be back working stable and bringing in income in order to get back on track and feel comfortable to join this finances again. And I agree, I understand that, but I'm like, I'm at that point of where I was with addiction, where I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I want to get after this,
Yeah, but there was a part of this where there was, for her, I'm sure she experienced a huge distrust. Like, there's part of this where it's like, okay, like you said, I'm really glad this year has happened. I think we're going to keep going in that direction. But, and to your point, I don't think this should be indefinite. Like, I don't think that you should live life separately, but I do think you guys need to work together and figure out what that point is where, you go, okay, once we've checked these things off the list, everybody feels comfortable again, we're going forward, we've got some track record established, now we're ready to go together. I think you guys have to work together, even with a counselor, to kind of be a third party in that, to make that happen, because you're right. You don't want to continue to operate separately. Once you've gotten to that point of health, you don't need to operate separately. But to her point, she's got to feel good about this too, because the truth is, the past has been hard for both of you.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think I've come to this point where I've let emotion not play a factor, because alcohol was fueled off of my emotion, and I come from a crazy past, but I'm trying to think more rational now, and but I'm also trying to, I want to get gazelle intense on this.
Yeah.
Let's jump in. I'm all in board, and I know she's like, well, let's pump the brakes. Then it's hard to stay focused and motivated when we're kind of living on separate islands. You know?
But you can pour all that emotion into doing those things that she said she wanted to see. You with a stable job, you with a stable income. And when you have those things, then you are also paying off debt as well. So there's part of this that I think she's probably wanting to see, is this the real thing? And is it the real thing on every level, or just part of the levels?
Absolutely.
So I would do this on your own as you get the stable income, and then as you join and she goes, oh wow, he's really changed, he's doing this thing, I'm on board, then we combine incomes and we attack this debt together. I know you feel the guilt and shame from it. Is she willing to tackle it with you at that point?
That conversation hasn't come up. She's aware of how much the debt is and where I'm at, and I feel truly we haven't even spoke about that, but I believe that she's not willing to put her hand in this because it's like, hey, this is your responsibility. You kind of fix it, you know. And I'm taking ownership and accountability of that, and I'm.
So are you guys splitting rent, like the mortgage right now? How is this all working?
Yeah.
Well, that was the funny thing. Like, we were all living together. We were doing all the separate. Living together. I'm sorry. And then when the separation happened, she went to go live with her family, and I went to go live with my family. So the opportunity to, like, I want to get this done like 6 months, a year. You know, I really want to get intense and get this stuff back in order because we're in a position where we're living separate, and we have that opportunity to kind of.
You're still living separate?
Yeah, you're still living separate.
Yeah.
So what is the game plan to even move in together?
See, that the game plan is to obviously pay off debt. I want to be debt free to make before we make any moves because.
Wait, did she say I'm not moving back in with you until you're debt free?
That word has not come into play.
Turn right. Then turn right.
Okay,
You know?
let's have. It sounds like you guys have more conversations to have because I do think that probably
Turn right.
she
Then turn left.
probably has a set of boundaries that she's thinking I gotta see.
Turn left.
She was on the line.
fucking blinker.
And I got work. What needs to be. Then we can go about the business. And I would think about selling that car, Steven.
In a quarter of a mile. Use the right lane to exit to I-5 North.
It's mostly consumer debt. You know, unfortunately, it's addiction brought to me where
Credit cards?
Yeah, it's all credit cards, yeah. And
Okay.
I took a leave from work medically because I just felt like I was in that headspace and I wasn't even getting paid as
In 1,000 feet.
medically
Exit right.
clear to kind of go take care of this addiction. You know?
Okay. So it sounds like you're on the right path. It sounds like you're understanding, here's what, it's my mess, I need to clean it up. Have that clear conversation with her. Figure out, okay, what are the points that we move in together again? What are the points where we combine our money again? And are you really serious about getting back with me, or are these
Exit right to I-5 North.
for that to happen? This is The Ramsey Show.
A lot of financial institutions don't care too much about you, but they care a lot about getting their sweaty hands on your money. They have fancy furniture and marble columns in their lobbies because you're paying for them with high fees just to access your own cash. But Fairwinds Credit Union's different. Guys, you know I prefer credit unions because of their membership focus. Lower
Continue straight for 1 hour and 47 minutes to exit 253, Oregon 22, Oregon 99 E-Business toward Detroit Lake Bend.
Ramsey mission of helping people get out of debt and living generously. They won't try to force debt products and loans on you, and it's easy to join Fairwinds no matter where you live. They serve hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. Anything you could do at a bank branch, you can do on fairwinds.org. Plus, your deposits are federally insured by the NCUA up to $250,000. So talk to my friends at Fairwinds and check out the combined checking and savings account bundle they created just for Ramsey fans. Go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to learn more. That's FAIRWINDS.org/Ramsey.
I know you work hard for your money, and the key to keeping more of it in your pocket is by making a plan for your spending with a budget. And Every Dollar is the budgeting app that I use personally because it's perfect for looking every dollar you make in its little president face and telling it exactly where you want it to go. Just like you told that guy in traffic exactly where you wanted him to go. And even better, Every Dollar walks you through the entire budgeting journey so you always know your next right step. Download Every Dollar for free in the App Store or Google Play today.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel is my host. I'm Jade Warshaw. We're taking your calls. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Hey, George, I saw this sitting on our desk, and I think it's worth talking about because we hear so much doom and gloom about Americans not ready to retire, or it's the American dream is dying, you know, here in America when it comes to money. And this is really cool from CNN. Number of 401k millionaire reaches new high.
Yes, I actually just talked about this morning on Good Day Orlando. We did a media hit with the nice people over there, and this is exactly what we talked about because there's so much hope stealing going on out there. All you hear is there's a retirement crisis, and the next president's going to screw this up and cause us to all be broke. And here's Fidelity saying, actually, we're at record highs, and across our 401k accounts, they have 500,000 people who have balances of $1 million or more in that one account.
Wow.
In just one 401k account, which is very encouraging. Average balance hit 1.6 million.
That's great.
So that's encouraging. So the question is, good for them, George. What about me and my 401k? I don't have $1 million. Well, that's true. The average 401k out there is more like 126 grand.
Yeah.
So it's like a tenth. So how do you get there, Jade? Well, it takes consistent investing over a long period of time. So if you sporadically put 3% to get the employer match, yeah, it's going to take a bazillion years to get $1 million. But if you follow the Ramsey plan, get out of debt as soon as you can, 2 years or less. You get the emergency fund in place. You begin investing 15% of your household income into that retirement account. You will see that it doesn't take long for compound growth to work its magic.
That's right. And we all the time around here, we're talking about 10% returns. And anytime I talk about 10% returns, especially if it goes on social media, there's always somebody popping into the comments saying something like, well, where are you going to get that? Or how could you get that? Or that's impossible. And I always have to explain the idea that this is an annualized return. Number one, it's not to say that every single year you're going to get 10%, but over the lifetime of your investing, that is what you're getting. That's the average of all the years you've been
So if
investing.
it was up 30, down 12%, up 20%, down 6%,
Yeah.
if you take into account all of those years, you're looking at 10 to 12% on average in the stock market.
That's right. And when you look at them by year, most of the years are up years. You know, you have those years that tank because something catastrophic has happened, whether in politics or, you know, international, but it always recovers, and it always recovers really in our favor.
I just looked at the S&P 500, which represents the total U.S. stock market. I looked at the numbers, Jay, this morning, and in 2004, so 20 years ago, we have 5x'd since then. So if you had 10 grand, now you're talking 50 grand. And even if you had started investing 10 years ago, your money would have went 2.5x.
That's right.
And so it's not a rocket science analogy here. You just need savings rate, how much money you're putting in, plus time.
That's right.
the formula to become a 401k millionaire.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. So your 401k is a great place to start. We say all the time, you know, we sometimes here we talk about baby step 4 and we kind of push past it, but it's worth talking about, George, because a lot of people have questions. A lot of people don't realize, okay, when I invest in my 401k at work, what does that mean? And where does that get me? So let's take a moment and kind of explain that, because I posted a video on Instagram last week about baby step 4, and I was overloaded with questions on, okay, what does that mean? Where do I go? What if it's Roth? What if I get a match? So let's take a moment and teach the people, when we say baby step 4, what are we talking about? I'll start with the first part. So here we teach that you're not ready to invest until after you've paid off your debt, which is baby step 2, and after you've invested and after you've saved 3 to 6 months of expenses, that's baby step 3. From there, we then teach, okay, now you take 15% of the gross that you're making every single month. This is before insurance comes out, before taxes comes out. You take that money and you're investing it, and we say, let's start with an employer-sponsored account if there's a match.
Yes, so if you make 100 grand a year, you should see $15,000 in contributions in that retirement account. That's 15%.
Yes.
And the strategy here is simple. Match beats Roth beats traditional. We go for the match first because it's a 100% return on our investment. I put in 4%, the employer puts in 4%. Great. Next, we can move to all the Roth options available. All of that means is that the money is put in after tax and gross tax free. So you're not going to be able to deduct it from your taxable income for the year like it's traditional, but you never have to pay taxes again. If you have $2 million in a Roth 401k at retirement, Uncle Sam doesn't touch it. That's like $2 million of net income, take home. So I love that. Then beyond the Roth options, like a Roth IRA or Roth 401k, you can move to any traditional options you have.
That's right. And one of the other things I love about investing is if I can set it and forget it. Like if you're doing the 401k right now and you can go to HR and set it up and it happens like clockwork, that's wonderful, because you don't even have to think about it. It's just happening monthly. It's money. You can almost pretend like it's never happened, right? You're not thinking about it. And same thing if you have a Roth IRA, you could probably set it up to where that's coming in automatically too on payday. Because here's the thing. If you don't do it on payday, good luck to you. It's not happening.
If you see that money in your bank account, it's hard to go, you know what I should do? Invest for the future. You're going to go, ooh, I'm going to buy me some stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So I love the idea of picturing like you never had that money, and then future you. It's going to feel like you found like a $20 bill in your coat pocket, except it's going to be like a $2 million bill in your coat pocket.
So let's talk about George briefly, because we got some time. Let's talk about for the people who say, well, I make too much to invest in a Roth IRA.
Well, the IRA does have limits, but there's ways around it with the Roth where you can do a backdoor Roth.
Yeah.
And all this means is you're going to use after-tax money to fund an IRA, and then you can immediately convert it to a Roth.
Yeah.
And it's legal. It's a legal loophole.
Totally legal.
This is not like a life hack that's going to get you in trouble. And I would recommend working with a pro on all this. You can connect with one at RamseySolutions.com to help. That's what I did when I came to Ramsey. I had an old 401k. I rolled it over to the IRA. From my Apple career, my short 1 year and 3 month Apple career, I had some 401k money in there.
That's great.
And so whether you're rolling over or you want to do a backdoor Roth, there's a lot of options for high income earners. On top of that, there's the mega backdoor Roth.
Yes,
like
there's a lot.
It feels like a 7-year-old name.
The mega
backdoor.
And then for the people who are like, okay, George, great, I'm maxing out my 401k, I'm doing well, I'm maxing out a Roth IRA, what else can I do? We love the HSA, Health Savings Account. If you have a high deductible insurance plan, that's a great way to go. I mean, obviously, when you put the money in at first, you're thinking this is for my health savings, but beyond $1,000, years, you're able to invest that money, and by the time you turn 65, it doesn't have to just go to medical costs. You can use that for...
It acts like a 401k.
Basically. Now,
Really...
what if you're really doing well, George, and you're like, I did it all. I did the HSA, the Roth IRA, the 401k. What am I going to do next, George?
I would just invest in a general investing brokerage account.
Yes.
This is not connected to retirement, but you don't get tax advantages.
Well, let's run it back a little simpler, because some people are going, when you say brokerage account, George, what do you mean? What is that? What is a brokerage account? What's a brokerage?
Well, it's simply an account for investing that you work with, firm like we've all heard of Vanguard or
Yes.
Fidelity or
Charles Schwab. Yeah.
So you can work with a pro on this. You can open these yourself, and you just simply invest in. This is what Dave does. He gets a big check that's
Yes.
not non-retirement. He goes, I'm going to put it in an index fund inside of one of these accounts.
It's not connected to your employer. It's not connected to your retirement. It's simply...
And you pay taxes on the money,
Yes.
on the growth of that money, and you don't get any tax deductions when you put it in. So there's no tax benefit, but the benefit is you don't have to wait till 60 to tap into it. And you can use it for anything at any time.
Okay, so let's take a step further. When we talk about investing that money, what are we talking about? We're talking about, because a lot of people go, oh, I'm investing in single stocks, Apple, Nvidia, right? And we're saying, no, that's super risky. Let's invest in mutual funds, right?
So this is like betting on a single horse versus betting on the racetrack.
Yeah.
I'd rather just enjoy the game and go, we're all going to be winners if we put money into the racetrack itself.
That's right.
We're going to get all the horses in that race. And that's what you're doing when you invest in a mutual fund, which is like 90 to 200 plus.
Sometimes more,
stocks.
yeah.
And so that's what you're betting on. And you can see the return is a lot less rocky than a single stock of one company. Instead of going, here's the top 500 companies we're all rooting for, the top 500 horses in the race. And that way you get the benefit of all of them.
And there's different types of funds that he's talking about. When we talk about growth funds, growth and income funds, aggressive growth funds, international, those are the four that we teach. You're spreading your eggs out, you're not putting them in one basket. So if your international fund is not doing very well, probably your growth and income fund is trucking along and doing just fine as it should. And so that's how this works. That is baby step 4 in a nutshell. George, you're a genius.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
But you know what? You don't have to be a genius investor to make money in the stock market. You just gotta ride it out. Don't jump off the coaster. Stay put.
Stay put. All right, keep tuning into the Ramsey Show to learn more about how to manage your personal finances.
These days, it's not if your identity gets stolen, it's when. And the only ID theft protection plan I have ever recommended is from Xander Insurance. It helps real people with real life situations. Like the call we got on the show recently where a woman's abusive ex opened a credit card in her name and racked up over $8,000 in debt. Then the bank sued her even though the charges weren't hers. What a mess. With Xander's help, she was able to get the entire nightmare cleared up, and now her family is officially debt-free. Listen, Xander's Identity Theft Protection is the best option out there. They have all the cyber tools and monitoring services you need. They cover all types of ID theft, and they even include up to $2 million in stolen funds protection. In the end, though, you need an ally, someone on your side to take over the work and fix the problem. That's what Xander is all about. Go to Xander.com to learn more or call 800-356-4282. Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here, and I got a big announcement. I'm coming to a city near you live on the Money and Relationships Tour. Dr. John Deloney. This is the most interactive event we've ever done. You get to decide what we talk about. You do not want to miss this. We'll be coming to Louisville, Durham, Atlanta, Phoenix, Fort Worth, and Kansas City in April and May of 2025. Get your tickets and more information at RamseySolutions.com/tour.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Campbell is with me. I'm Jade Warshaw. We're taking your calls. This is a live show, so if you want to get on, go ahead and give us a call, 888-825-5225. Let's go straight to the phone lines. We've got Dan in Los Angeles, California. What's going on, Dan?
Hey guys, hello. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How can we help?
I guess my question is, what do you do when you're barely getting by each and every month? You're behind on pretty much all your bills. You're getting sued by a debt collector, all at the same time as you're trying to prepare for the birth of your first child.
Ooh, the short answer is make more money, but I know it's going to be more than that, so tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so I guess past 2 years I went into 2 different business ventures with partners that, long story short, I just ended up getting the short end of the stick and never got compensated. So since then I've had to pretty much just drive for Uber and Lyft to supplement income. Right now we are 1 month behind on our rent. I am currently 2 months behind on my car. Utilities for like gas and water and power I have not paid for probably like the past year.
And it's still on?
And it's still on, thankfully.
Have you talked to them? Have they talked to you?
They've sent out like notices, and I've made payments whenever I can just to keep things on.
What are you paying for? Where is, even if you have a little income, where is it going?
So I guess, could I give you guys like the breakdown of certain expenses?
Sure. Yeah, I want to know.
Because those things should be covered first. If you do nothing else, put food on the table and covering 4 walls. And it sounds like you're not covering the 4 walls, so I'm wondering where is the money going?
And by the way, tell him the 4 walls real quick, just so he knows.
That's food, utilities, housing, transportation. You cover nothing else in that order, which means the credit card companies can kick rocks because you got to feed your family and keep the lights on.
Yeah, what? Tell us more numbers. How much is rent? You're in Los Angeles.
Rent, yeah, my portion is split with me and my partner, and I pay about $1,600.
$1,600 just for you, okay.
Yep.
And then
my car payment is $610 a month.
Okay, that's a lot.
Insurance is $330 a month.
Okay.
In charging costs alone, to charge my vehicle, I drive a Tesla.
Oh no.
It's about $800 a month. Considering
So stop there, because we're already like we're doing good. Now you're driving Uber and Lyft, which I don't know. I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but I tend to think of those as side hustles. Now I do know in places like New York and where there's a lot of traffic, people do this as their full-time job. So tell us what you're making from Uber and Lyft and what you're making each month.
It's anywhere from like 42 to 46, roughly, give or take.
100?
Yes.
Per month. Okay. And tell us where that's going. Okay, obviously half of it, a good portion of that's going to rent. Okay. Charging the Tesla. What else is laying around here